of the Planning and Community Committee of Woodley Town Council. The Town Council is consulted by Wokingham Borough Council on planning applications within Woodley, but the final decision of approved or refused is taken by Wokingham Borough Council. We will notify Wokingham Borough Council of the committee's views, which may include any comments and concerns expressed by members of the community affected by the application. If anyone here has any comments to make on any of the planning applications, then you need to formally write or send an email to Wokingham Borough Council Planning Department, as they will take the final decision on the application. Now, this is the first meeting of this committee to take place under video conferencing platform, in this case Zoom, and consequently I apologise in advance for any glitches or delays we may incur in running the meeting. And as a reminder for all committee members, can they please use gallery view, or it may not be possible to note all the time when they need to speak. The meeting will be held in accordance with the Woodley Town Council virtual meetings protocol. For members of the public attending and wishing to comment, your microphones will be off and will be controlled by the chair. If you wish to discuss a particular planning application or other matter, raise your hand electronically to ensure you can be seen, and the chair will turn on your microphone to enable you to speak at a suitable time. This is to prevent too many attendees talking at once and to allow us to manage the meeting more effectively. Thank you for your cooperation in advance. Any questions? No? Okay. So if we move on to the agenda, Linda, do we have any apologies, please?
No. No
Okay.
apologies.
Okay. Item 2, declarations of interest. Has anybody got any declarations of interest?
No.
No.
I've got a potential one. I don't know how everyone feels about it, but my daughter goes to Addington School, and one of the applications is Addington School, so to be aware. I don't know if that falls under it, but always better to say it than not.
Doesn't sound to me as if it's declaration of interest. What do you think, Linda? Deborah?
I think that it isn't.
No, I don't.
Certainly not a pecuniary interest.
No,
it's not.
no.
I'm not even sure it's the personal interest, because there's lots of people who have children at that school who live in Woodley, I would think.
Yeah, yeah.
They
yeah.
live from
It's
further
good.
away, but I don't think like.
Okay.
Okay.
Item 3 then is minutes of the planning committee meeting held on the 25th of February 2020. So can I have approval to approve the minutes, please?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. They will be signed when it's convenient that I can get down to the offices to actually sign them formally, which I trust is acceptable to everybody. Item 5 is planning decisions,
No.
and that's
Item 4.
oh sorry, item 5, missed one out. I told you there was going to be some glitches, didn't I? Item 4 then is current planning applications. We can go through these very briefly. Item 1 is 200179 21 Anthea Close. There was a previous application on this where the householder tried to take some amenity land, but this new application does not require that and is merely an extension to the property. And I don't think we had any queries on the property last time, apart from the fact that they were trying to take some amenity land. Anybody got any problems with that? No?
No.
Okay. So we can say that's accepted. Item 2 I've got is 200824, which is 184 Loddon Bridge Road. I noticed we've got 2 attendees, Kevin.
That's correct.
Loddon Bridge Road was originally for 2 semi-detached dwellings and 1 bungalow, and they're now asking for some alterations. Now, one of the clauses that were put onto this application originally, when it was passed by Wokingham, was that they can't change the roof or extend the roof. But that's what this is now trying to change. And I don't know whether anybody's got any views on that. Yes, Carol.
I think if there was on the original application, if the feeling was that there should be that restriction, I can't see any reason why that should be now not, disallowed. I think it's put on in the first place, it probably should remain.
Yes, because I think the original one was for 3 houses and that was then refused. Then it became 2 houses and a bungalow. And I'm now wondering if by trying to increase the roof height that we can get to the stage where we have 2 higher houses and a dormer bungalow, which is almost getting back to where they started off from. But Linda's got a hand up.
Yeah, if I can say, so the previous application, we did actually ask, so Woodley Town Council asked for the permitted development rights within the loft of the bungalow to be removed by a condition, which Wokingham actually did. That was condition 17.
17, that's right.
Yeah, but what they're asking for, this application is asking for a variation of condition 2, which is the treatment of the elevations, which is, it obviously includes the appearance of the roof space, but what they're wanting to do is to actually put a room in the roof space of the bungalow.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Yes.
know if we might have a view on that, because we asked that there would be no development in the roof.
Yes, because they're looking to increase the height of all the buildings by 500 mil or 20 inches in old money. And I'm not sure that really meets that particular clause that Wokingham inserted. So what's your views?
Keith wants to speak.
Oh, Keith?
Hi. Apologies for late. Did it start at 7:30 or 7:45?
7:45.
Okay. Just before I make my comment, can I please register a declaration of interest
Yes,
on application 200-996 Addington? As I'm a school governor there, I obviously have a significant interest, so I
Okay.
will not participate.
okay.
Quite happy to leave the kitchen if you wish me to.
I'm sure it won't come to that.
Okay, you're talking about Longridge Road.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Personally, I don't have any major problem there. If you look at the 2 before and after pictures of the, looking at it from the front, it's not that majorly different, and it's certainly not higher than the imminent neighbour on one side. So for me, I don't have any issues with.
Okay. Anybody else have any issues?
No.
Yes, Richard.
Yeah, I think similar to Carol's thoughts. I kind of, my gut feeling was that the conditions were put there for a reason. I'd like to say, as was pointed out, we'd wanted the permitted development rights removed from the roof of the bungalow. I appreciate the, need for some flexibility, but it's quite soon after the previous application. It just kind of feels to me like trying to revert back. I think my money would be, no, those conditions were there for a reason, and allow the planning people at Wokingham to duke it out with the legalities. I don't think the actual appearance is hugely different. It's really the roof of the bungalow that piqued my interest.
Okay. So are we of the mind to say no then?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I'm inclined to say no.
Right.
uh,
Jenny,
to-
I'm okay with it, actually.
okay, so do we have to take a vote on this one?
Yeah, we do.
So
I think we
who's
do.
who's for rejection or no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And who's for okay? 2, is that right? 5-2.
Correct.
So our view is to say no. So can we reject that one on the basis that we like the original conditions to prevail
Okay,
with regards to the roof?
so I recommend refusal because we can't see any
Any benefits?
Any benefit for
benefit,
removing
yeah.
the conditions?
That's
Any
correct.
reason to remove the conditions?
Any reason?
There's no reason to remove the conditions. I can't see one.
And should I also refer to condition 17, which they don't in the
Yes.
application?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. The next one I've got is 200846, which is 19 Silver Fox Crescent. The only question on that particular application was to do with a rather large canopy. But apart from that, I didn't really see much of an issue with it. Does anybody want to comment?
No, I didn't see any issue.
Not me neither.
No?
Carol's got a hand
Yes,
up.
Carol?
Yeah, my only view was that the pitch roof was a lot better than the flat roof. So I think it's improved it. The canopy, I think, is a single story. It's not an issue. Thanks, Keith.
Okay. All right. So we've got no objection to that one.
Okay.
200902, which is 8 Roxham Road. This is a second attempt from the householder because he's reduced the footprint on this particular application. I think there are some questions about the garage and some overhangs, and that's come back through again.
If I can say, the applicant is one of the attendees here,
Right.
if you would like to ask any questions of the applicant.
And so have we got any questions we want to ask? Do we want to see the plans or? Are we happy?
Phil?
Or? Yes, David.
Philip, one thing on that, the plans are showing a Juliet balcony, which
Right.
wasn't on the original planning application.
No,
Okay.
I wondered what, yeah.
Yes, Keith?
Just to say that
Carol.
is not a matter to consider for this application. It's an enforcement matter that should have been taken up before, that they haven't built to plan. I don't think that has any bearing on this particular application. I'm amazed that they've done it. I'd be surprised if they've got permission to do it, because WBC are very anti-Jubilee. But I don't know how many people pulled out the design and access statement for 8 Roxham Road. And apparently the applicant has been discussing with the planning enforcement officer some issues. And according to the document, they've addressed those issues that the enforcement officer had in this new application, but nowhere does it reference the Juliet balcony.
Okay.
So really, I think we've got to look at it on what is in front of us, rather than pick up in the past.
Carol?
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned about the neighbours. I worked out, I think it was number 10. And I thought if there was any comments we made, either no comment, no objection or whatever, that it should be subject to neighbours' comments. I don't know if we received any letters last time, but
No.
especially with the Juliet balcony, views, the neighbours, etc. So that was just a comment to make.
Okay, that's not unreasonable. So are we happy to accept?
Yes.
With a comment about making sure any neighbours' comments are taken into account?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Keith?
Yeah, can I add to that? I support what you're saying, but can we ask Linda to send a separate communication to WBC about this Juliet balcony? Because it's possible that they have given permission, a retrospective permission, and I don't think that would come through the system. And then that would clear that particular item. If the enforcement officer agreed that the Juliet balcony was wrong, I can almost guarantee that the action will be to apply for retrospective planning permission rather than saying rip it out, because the government advice is always to try and find an appropriate way out of issues like that, rather than sort of demolish it and rebuild.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody
Yep.
happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You okay with that, Linda?
Yep, that's fine. Yep.
Okay. So the next project is 200924, which is 196 Loddon Bridge Road. And this is a single story front extension to create a porch, plus a single story part 2-story side and rear extension. My only comments on this one, I think, was parking. And Carol, I think, had a comment about neighbours, if I'm right. Is that right, Carol?
Yes, it was number 198. It wasn't clear as to whether there were any habitable rooms on that side and whether the light would be affected. One presumes that's been checked, but I just thought it ought to be flagged up.
Okay, so as I say, my only concern was a question about parking, whether there was enough parking. But most.
Yeah, I mean, my concern, Philip, was about parking on that one. On the plans, they put in 4 parking spots there, and I can only see them reversing out onto Loddon Bridge Road.
Yes, yes, I was a bit concerned. So can we say we've got no objections subject to parking being sorted out and
Subject to
making sure,
parking being
yes,
provided. Yeah.
yes, and a comment that Carol wanted to make about ensuring that the neighbours are quite happy with the size of the extension and it won't be detrimental to them.
What, subject to there being no objections from the neighbours?
right,
That
yes.
198.
That's correct.
Okay.
Alexa, stop.
Okay.
Okay, I was going to make a comment about 201001, which is the adjoining parish consultation. It is a very small column to enable gas to escape from a sewage installation from Thames Water. And it's not in our area. It's part of Charville. So unless anybody wants to say anything, we'll just say that was noted.
Okay.
Happy with that? Is that okay? All right. Item 201012 Quinton Road. This is an application.
But you've missed one.
You've missed Addington School.
You want to do Addington? Sorry, I've probably got my papers in a slightly different order. Okay, Addington School. So do we want to look at the plans for Addington School?
Can do. If you can.
Well, just
That's better. Yeah.
Now, what can you see?
half a map.
Can you see the map?
A map, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
With the red.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, Philip.
That's
it's
better.
the-
Better.
That's
No,
better.
down there.
Stop.
Good,
That's it.
good, good.
Is that big enough or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what they're looking to do is to move the site entrance. Because I think
that's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see that.
yes, to
Okay.
move. Yes, they're looking to move the site entrance, presumably to make it safer for people to turn into the school. And this is probably going to be a bigger problem when the leisure centre opens,
Yeah.
unless this actually happens. And although they appear to be losing a few parking spaces, it would appear that they've reorganised, so the parking spaces they're losing, they're actually gaining elsewhere on the site.
Yeah.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes, Linda.
So just to point out that this is, just so you're aware, this is in the Bullmarsh site of Urban Landscape Value. So this would be just for you to note, really.
Yes. Okay. So we got any issues on that? Do we need to make any comments on that? Yes, Carol?
I thought I'd wave a piece of paper this time.
I can just, yeah, I can see you waving just sometimes at the corner of my eye. So I apologise if I miss you, but
I wasn't finished sorting. A couple of issues. The arboricultural report makes no mention of the SULV, and as it's, as Linda's just said, it's part of that. I think that's really important because we're talking about the trees that will be removed or the trees kept or new trees put in, and that is going to impact the SULV. So I'm concerned about that. The access, it kept talking about two-way, and I didn't know whether it was two-way or two-lane. And the splay, yes, if you keep going, that's it. The splay that they've allowed there, they're saying means that cars don't have to queue. Well, I can't see that splay is wide enough, except right at the end where you might get two cars next to each other on the way out. And we're talking about a lot of cars in and out, and I'm really concerned about the queuing on Woodlands Avenue, people turning in, people turning out. And then the that are protected by metal and four wheels, etc. It's going to go right across that path, and there's been no mention of what will be done to protect those people, either a rumble strip or a way of warning the motorists, warning the cyclists, warning the pedestrians. So it's three things. It's the SULV and trees. Is that going to stop queuing, what they've allowed there? And what about the cyclists and pedestrians?
okay. So anybody else want to add to anything that Carol said? Yes, Richard.
Yeah, Carol's picked up my only real criticism of it was is the display wide enough? Again, my daughter goes there, and I mean at the moment when I first saw this, I jumped with joy because it is actually pretty dangerous with the current access arrangement. I was kind of a bit surprised that there wasn't a traffic control, like a mini roundabout to get in and out of there. I was a little bit worried about queuing traffic. And initially I thought all pedestrian access, but I think that is taken care of separately, which is quite good. But yeah, I think my comment is, as a parent there, I'm hugely enthusiastic. Whether it's appropriate to say that now, I don't know, but I'm slightly concerned about the width of the road and whether or not it's done, what's the word, properly with not cheap and cheerful and narrow. I don't want to sound negative about that, but that was it looked like the very most economical mechanism of doing what they wanted to do, and I was just slightly concerned that the dual-in special needs education in Berkshire is getting a kind of on the cheap job, which I was a little bit worried about. But that's all I've got to say about it, really.
Okay, so shall we make a comment, Linda, that we have no objection apart from a reminder that it's part of the SULV and concern that the width of the access and maybe the length and width of the road, which may need some attention because of the potential for queuing traffic turning in.
Look, I would like to see a bit more than just mentioning the SULV.
No, yeah.
I think they should send us, give us, saying how they've thought it through and what impact they think there is or there isn't, whichever the case may be. And the same with the pedestrians and cyclists, because it's not clear at all. They've even given that a thought. And if you're cycling down that path, you're downhill. Some people are going quite speedily, and then it's encouraged to go on that cycleway. And all of a sudden you've got traffic going across it that probably might not even think to look up and down the path before they cross over there. So I think it's got to be more than just making a comment. I think we should.
Yeah. I think I agree with Carol, because that is a dangerous place where they put it.
Okay. All right.
So do we want to minute that we would like to ask for an explanation of
Yeah.
how the impact
Yeah.
on the SULV has been
And
minimised.
how they came with that idea as well.
Carol, is that right? How the impact on the SULV has been?
Well, I think the thing is we could say there appears to be no consideration of the impact on the SULV, and we'd like more information as to how that has been considered and what the impacts are or are not. And the same with the cyclists and pedestrians.
Okay.
Right, they couldn't have put it in a more dangerous way, especially it's a cycle path as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I just
Happy
throw
with
in too, Bennett? Has anyone asked why they want to do it?
Anyone what?
Why do they want to do it?
Yeah, no, I don't, yeah, that's another question, yeah.
I mean, I don't see the advantage.
No, it seems stupid to me, but I'm not, and that's
They're doing it for a reason, but I've not heard why.
we need to know.
At a guess, I would suggest it's something to do with the current entrance being by Bullmarsh Leisure Centre.
Yes.
And that will create quite a few problems.
Yes,
if it continues to stay there.
I think that is the problem.
Remember, it's also the entrance to Bournemouth School.
Bournemouth as well, yeah.
And the
It's
golf.
going to be congested.
Okay.
I would just again like to add, it is not going to relieve the congestion. It's going to add to it.
Add to it, yeah.
It's going to create 2 points of congestion instead of one, and you're going to get an awful lot of angry people trying to get down Woodlands Avenue.
And I'm one of
I
them.
probably disagree with that. I think at the moment, the mini roundabout at the top of Fairwater Drive gets absolutely chocker with people trying to turn around it. And there's a kind of bottleneck around that roundabout and the traffic lights. If you imagine, I think there's probably about 200 or 300 cars will go through. In fact, Keith would probably be able to answer that one. But go into Addingston because every child pretty much gets dropped off. It's very difficult to walk there if you're from out of Woodley. So I think, you know, if somebody uses it, I think that'll alleviate the stress quite a lot. I think my original point of, is that the right place mechanism? You know, I think it's pretty slow for negotiation, but I think that'll relieve the traffic. And I think most of all the people safety element of it, because at the moment when they come in, all vehicles drive straight past the front door of the school where the students congregate to go in. Whereas this moves that completely to the other side. I like to say, from a people safety point of view, if I put my school business manager hat on, my vehicle movement plan would be much, much happier with that solution. But again, congestion, I think it'll be an improvement, although I could see a turning right problem, which is why I mentioned the mini roundabout earlier.
It's 234, I think, the number of cars using, according to the highway report with the planning application.
And the school's growing this year as well, because they've got an extra 6 form blocks, so it'll be a bigger school, albeit only by about, again, Keith might be able to tell us, but I think it's about an extra 30 pupils coming in next year.
Yeah, okay. I still think that it's going to be hellish getting down Woodlands Avenue with those 2 bottlenecks. It's bottleneck 1, then it's bottleneck 2. Yeah. I often get caught at that roundabout. And you can stand there when the school's coming out, you can sit at that roundabout for, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I've said my piece. I'll shut up now.
It's fine. No, you don't need to shut up. Okay. So we're sort of, we need the change in location of the entrance. But we have a concern with regards to the effect it's going to have on the existing traffic, including the cycle paths and the pedestrians. So
especially as it's coming down a hill as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
just a thought. How about if a slip road entry was put in that spot? It would take the traffic going in off of Woodlands Avenue.
Yes, yes, to sort of do away with some of the path and turn it into a slip road. Yes,
it could turn it into a slip road.
Yes, that would help. Apart from traffic, obviously going that way.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't suppose we know how many vehicles turn right into it compared to how many vehicles turn left into it. So you'd end up, well, yes. So you could have a slip road over here, but I don't know what you could do for traffic turning right, unless you stop them turning right. But then they'd have to go halfway down the moon to turn around to come back again, wouldn't they? And that would cause more problems. Okay, what have we got, Linda, for comments?
We've got no objection to the proposal, but concern at the width of the access and display, and concern about queuing traffic, and we'd like to ask for more information on the consideration of the impact on the SULV and the impact on cyclists and pedestrians.
Okay, are we happy with that?
Can I make another suggestion? Sorry to interbarge you.
Yes, sorry.
They might consider different start times at the two schools, which would negate the need for it, I would have thought.
Well,
I think they are. It's the wraparound care element that creates the tension, if you will. I think Addington starts at 9, Bulmer starts about 8:30, but it's the ones that have to be dropped off early. And I think, yeah, in this day and age with working parents. But you're right, there are social ways that one can get around a problem like that.
Okay.
Do we want to mention that?
What do you think? Shall we mention that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Add that onto the comments, Linda, please.
Is that I'm just wondering, is that a planning consideration though? Is that something that
it's not a planning.
It's hours of operation which will impact the traffic, so I think it's definitely a planning.
Okay.
Sorry, that's not planning.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, yeah, I can mention that now.
Okay. Can I close this screen down now? Are you happy?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
I'm back.
Right.
Philip, can I just make a couple of comments now that you've made your decision?
Yes, Keith.
Right. Two things. Linda, I don't think this particular part of the school is in the SULV. I think you need to double check that.
I did check it.
I'm,
I think
I'm
it is.
surprised because it's the car park to the left of this new entrance was in the
Yeah,
SULV.
but I think the SULV comes underneath.
Okay, well, if you double checked it,
car.
that's fine. In terms of the traffic, the reason why this is on the table, and it's what's been recommended by Highways of Wokingham, is currently you have the one access to go into Addington School, to Bullmarsh Leisure Centre, to Goals, and to the Bullmarsh School. And what you get, because of the traffic going into Addington School, isn't generally private cars, it's minivans, etc., because of the nature of the school. What happens is those minivans queue up, back out from Addington, onto the roundabout and back up the road. And the traffic for the leisure centre and the school and Goals has to intermix into that traffic for the Addington School. So the principle that the Highways came up with was if this is appropriate, this new entry, at least they will take that traffic, the Addington traffic, out of that narrow road going down, and it should make it easier. At the moment, you've got queues going back on the roundabout because of where it is now, and you're almost certainly going to have queues, backing up from where the new entrance might be, but it's going to be exactly the same queue. It's just moved the queue.
Just
It's
moved
the
it.
same queue and still caused the same. No, there isn't 2 queues, Martin, because the traffic at Eddington can't get in that way because there is no, that entrance in the spur road is being closed. It's in the documentation. It's only going to be available for emergency services. You won't get access. The only access will be in this news. I just thought that might help. Having you made this decision, it wouldn't influence you, but that might help to inform.
Okay. Shall we move on? So our next 201012, which is 3 Quinton Road. This is to do with changing some of conditions 5 and 6, which is to do with access servicing and widening of access, which I guess is more of a highways issue, is it? Anybody got any comments on that, or do we have any? Yes, Richard? Richard, you're muted.
Sorry, that's wishful thinking. I wanted to have a look at this one because it's one of those ones that I've not seen before in this planning environment. I was a little bit confused, although, I mean, if it was mine, I would widen the driveway, but I was kind of slightly surprised, and I wondered if anyone would have any insight into why that condition would have been put in and what reason we would have not to support the application, because it seemed fairly reasonable to me that they would want them taken out. And I was kind of hoping somebody could throw some light on that.
Yes, Keith.
Sorry, I just unmuted myself. The condition, I think of the 2 conditions, condition 5, I think was totally unreasonable in the first place. That's the one about permeability, the gravel.
Yeah.
I can't understand why that's in there. So I absolutely support that one going away. My concern with option 6, which was an enforcement to put a drop curb for the whole width, is when you look at the pictures, the second car, they've clearly done it deliberately, but they've angled the second car. So if you're in the driver's seat, you're facing straight out onto where the drop curb is. Now, the reality is we all know that that's not going to happen. You know, people are going to bump on over the curb into the straight bit and they're going to drive straight off it. No, they're not, oh, I need to turn into the right to go through. And what if you read the documentation, what the council was trying to say with that number 6 was, we don't want you to damage our footpath and curb. So therefore it seems reasonable to make that extension of the drop curb, so that if you're the second car on the gravel, you can just drive straight out. You don't have to angle yourself to sort of go in front of the other car. What happens if the other car's parked a little bit forward? You know, so for me, I support the 5 going and I don't support the 6 going.
Okay. Anybody else got any comments?
No.
So are we happy to concur with what Keith had said, or?
Yeah, I am.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Linda, can we say okay to 5, but we object to 6?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. 201015, which is 21 Farriers Close.
Farrier. That's interesting.
I've had no comments back on this, and I've looked at it and I didn't have any issues or concerns. Has anybody else got any issues or concerns? No? So can we just say that one's accepted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 201029, which is 30 Colemansmore Road. Road. I dropped a bit of a clanger on the number there, I noticed, so it was pointed out to me, so I apologise for that. But again, I looked at the plans and I didn't have any particular concerns. Has anybody else got any concerns? No? Can we accept that one?
Yeah.
Okay. 201038 for Addington Gardens. loft conversion, roof lights, rear facing dormer. That again didn't seem to me to have any issues with it.
Not me.
No.
No? So
No.
are we happy to accept that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, 201079, which is 41 Butts Hill Road. Single story rear extensions, 5 roof lights, demolition of conservatory, conversion of garage, and a rear facing dormer. And I didn't have any issues to that because they seem to just be square in the property off at the back, as opposed to sort of an L shape. So has anybody got any issues they want to raise? Anything they want to mention? No? So we can accept that one. 201090, 7 Brunel Drive, which is just a front porch. It talks here about a single story front extension, but it's not much more than a porch. So, and the houses there are all slightly different at the front. Some have got porches and small extensions at the front and some haven't. So I don't have an issue with that. Does anybody else have an issue with that?
No.
No? Okay, so we can approve that one. Finally, I think 201125, 4 Seaford Gardens. This is quite large from what I can remember. And it's a replacement of existing conservatory with a first floor new dressing room and an ensuite. So it's a part single, part 2-story side extension with 4 roof lights. Do we want to look at that one? Are we happy with that one?
Yeah.
There was some comments that it's quite a large extension.
Yeah.
And we were concerned about the neighbours.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at the plans for that? Yes, Carol?
Yeah, I agree. It is large. I think they've got the room to do it. I think they've got the site there, and there's a big house next to it as well. So I was quite happy with it.
Yes, I looked at it. I didn't see any particular concern. I just thought it was large, but yes, David.
I had no problems with it at all, other than possible privacy concerns with the next door neighbour.
Right, okay.
So providing there's been no objections from the neighbour, I'm happy to say yes.
Okay, that seems reasonable. Anybody else want to say anything? So can we accept that one subject to any concern from the neighbour?
Yeah.
Is that okay, Linda?
Yeah.
Right, I think that concludes the current planning applications. So we're then looking at planning decisions. Do we need to go through those or can we take them as read? Yes, Keith. You're muted still. Oh, right.
Yeah. I don't want to go through them, but we seem to be getting more and more contrary decisions to our recommendations.
Yes.
We got to a stage where we were fairly good that our recommendations were endorsing. And I'm just a little bit concerned that there's a trend there. And maybe Linda, if you could just keep an eye onto that to see if it's just a blip, because I don't like it when we're contrary to the borough, because it suggests maybe we're doing something wrong, or definitely the borough's doing something wrong. But I think it's all part of continuous improvement decision making.
I think it goes both ways, doesn't it, Keith?
Yeah.
They've rejected some that we're happy with and vice versa. So it's not consistent that we keep saying no and Woking keeps saying yes. Okay.
The other thing I might say is that there are an awful lot of decisions on here. So this is sort of 3 months worth. So it might look as though there are more sort of contrary decisions just because, you know, the total number is a lot more than normal. Just a thought.
Okay, all right. Item 6, planning appeals. There's 2. There's 191105, 181 Headley Road East, which is a planning application for the erection of a 2-bedroom detached dwelling with a driveway. And obviously we didn't consider this because I'm assuming we weren't able to meet when it was considered. And it says the appeal was dismissed.
No, I have to say that was an error on Wokingham Borough Council's part, and they made the decision, even though we'd requested a time extension, they went ahead and made the decision before we'd actually looked at it. It was just a one-off, a blip. But that's why we didn't, that's what that note means.
Was this the one close to the roundabout? I think John looked at this, didn't he? It was that one. Yes, okay. The other application is 192571, which is 29 Duncan Road. And it says the application for the proposed subdivision to form two-bedroom dwellings. And that appeal was allowed, which is a bit of a concern if we have too many houses which are broken up into two.
Yeah.
But we can do no more really than note that, I guess. Item 7 is neighbour consultation scheme. There are 4 applications there. Do we need to go through them or can we take them as read?
Take them as read.
Can we take them as read? Okay. So we've got no comments on them. Okay. Item 8, which is an advertisement consent notification for Unit 4 East Reading Retail Centre, Shepherd's Hill. I'm not sure what unit that is. Is that the old Frankie and Bennett's one? Or
Yeah, that's the one.
that's the one that was going to be taken over by some health organisation, wasn't it? I believe.
I don't know.
Is that right?
It's all
Okay.
boarded up now.
Yes, I think I think the builders were in as far as they're able to, but okay,
Yeah.
so that's fine. Okay, item 9, telecommunications. It says this type of application does not require consultation. Although I'm sure these have come up previously for comment. Location Henley Wood Road, Early. Is that within our area?
No.
No.
I didn't think it was.
But
no.
I think we were contacted about that as
Yeah,
an adjoining parish. We've been,
This is the one down by sort of Early Station, isn't it?
they've asked our opinion on them before but it's not a formal consultation. So they have contacted us previously and we gave any comments that we had, but the actual planning application doesn't require consultation.
Okay.
That's what it means.
All right. And the second one was Headley Road 8, Headley Road East, which I think we have looked at, haven't we? I think, is this the one we've looked at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made comments about location, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Not sure we can do much with it. Okay. All right. Item 10 is tree preservation orders. And there's a fairly lengthy list there of trees that are allowed to be pruned up to, and a couple to be felled. Do we need to go through those or are we happy to take those as read?
Okay.
Take them as read.
Okay. And there's also a couple of TPOs which Wokingham have issued. One to some trees to the east of Weeble Drive. One to some woodland areas, area W2, and it's been created for clarity, it says. And it's a provisional basis from the 5th of March. And also some TPOs relating to trees associated with Church Mews. Keith?
Yeah, I guess, I don't think it's a declaration of interest, but the Weeble Drive one backs onto my property.
Right.
I had to sign documents to accept the TPO, even though it's not my trees. I don't think that's a declaration of interest.
Right. They don't, do they overhang you?
Nope.
No, they don't. Okay, so I wouldn't have thought that was an issue then.
Yeah, it's a good TPO.
Okay.
Good TPO.
Good. Okay. Item 11, cycling in Woodley Parking, working party. Carol, wishes but not wishes.
I think everybody's looked at it in the agenda. So really, if anybody's got any questions, I will try and answer them.
Cycling.
Otherwise, on we go.
Right. Any questions for Carol? No? So we're happy with the report. Okay. Item 12, cycling improvements in Woodley. Woking and Borough Council have asked for the Town Council's views on the use of Section 106 money to improve cycling routes in London. Woodley. Yeah. A couple of projects under consideration then is the footway along the south and east side of Kingfisher Drive and the footway along the south side of Beechwood Avenue. Do we need to say anything on that?
Well, they're sort of asking whether we have a preference for one or the other.
Oh,
Right.
I think the only one that oh, sorry, David, you were first.
Yeah, I'm really uncertain about it because we're in a strange situation that none of us have been in up until now. What we do know is that on the 9th of May, Grant Shapps, the Minister for Transport, did disclose a £2 billion package to be announced in June to be used for cycling and walking. Now, I'm just thinking that Section 106 monies can be beneficially used for other projects within Woodley rather than on cycling, where in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, we will hear what the government is proposing about grants, particularly for cycling. So I'm just thinking that at this particular moment in time, we are ahead of ourselves. And any decision we make today could be total rubbish tomorrow.
Okay. Carol, I think you had your hand up first.
Richard was in for me.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, was it? I do apologise. I missed you.
I opened my big mouth without sticking up my hand earlier, and I felt guilty. So I apologise to everyone there. David makes a good point. I think my observation there was that the Beechwood Avenue cycle path would be, the amount of school children particularly that move along that, and Beechwood Avenue is a dicey road to cycle down at the best of times. I thought that one I would be, hugely supportive of. Now, whether or not that's through Section 106 money or government grants in a different format, I think the benefit to the school children in Woodley families would just be astronomical. I couldn't quite visualise the Kingfisher Drive one, truth be told, and it's quite close to Fairwater. And as a keen cyclist, I didn't want to say no, I don't want a cycle path. But I of the two, I just thought the benefit sat around that Beechwood Avenue one being really positive for Beechwood pupils, for St Dominic's pupils when people are coming down there, for Bullmarsh pupils, for Addington pupils. There's just so much child benefit there. It felt like a no-brainer to me. But that's
I think the Kingfisher Drive is a lot for commuters, perhaps, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah. To get to early station, that would be good.
Yes. Sorry, Carol, did you want to?
Yes, the Kingfisher Drive one. There's actually 4 off-road routes from Woodley to South Lake already. So why anybody with any sense thinks we need another one, it's just unbelievable. And I think it's a case of trying to spend the Section 106 money somewhere. Beechwood Avenue, I take the point about school children, but it seems that a cyclist just appear out of the sky, pick up a cycleway in Beechwood Avenue. They're dumped either end. There's no connection with any of the cycle paths, cycleways or anything. So if you get onto a cycleway, great. But getting on and getting off is just, it's not something that's conducive to road safety or to encourage cycling. And the Section 106 money, which has obviously got to be spent with relation to the Avenue development. I looked at the 106 agreement set up for the original application, and there was talking of a travel plan coordinator, that they would promote public transport, walking and cycling. They would develop car sharing. They would monitor and view travel plans. None of that I've heard anything about, whether or not it's happened. And if it has, I'd be interested in what. They even said that they would put in secure and covered bicycle paths. And anybody who cycles that sort of path, there's nowhere to put your bike to secure that. You have to find a tree and put it there. So they need to look, first of all, at making sure that everything that was promised for is actually undertaken. And I think if any money should be spent, it almost ought to go the other way, up towards Church Road. Because again, if you get to the end of Woodlands Avenue and turn left into Church Road, there is a wide path there to take you up to the 3 Tons. Although once you get over the bridge, you're sort of left to your own devices. It stops there. Yeah. If you turn right along Church Road, as if you want to get to Reading, there's no cycle provision.
Keith.
Thank you. I just want to sort of maybe try and ground us all, because, you know, Carol's done a good bit of research there. We don't, all those things she's just mentioned are typical things that are in a Section 106 for transport. We don't know, as Carol's just confirmed, whether they've done any of those or not. We don't know how much we're talking about. We don't know how much is left if they've done any of those things. And we're sitting here really crystal ball gazing. The cycling officer's come up, Ross has come up with these 2 ideas, but I just question how he is linked into the rest of the highways organisation about all those points. So for me, regardless of whether A and B are the best things in sliced bread, I would like to know, and maybe Linda can find out, is from that list that Carol's just read off, what has actually been done? Because that would have cost money. Yeah. And what therefore is left to do something else. And the something else has to be associated with the Parklands estate. It can't be used anywhere else. The church, so that can be either the Church Road side, which Carol suggested, or down the other end, which is, you know, Kingfisher Drive, etc., and the station. But we're really having a discussion here on the back of something that we don't know. It's on sand at the moment, which we need to be a bit more solid on that. And just a final point, Carol, the reason why the cycle lane or the shared cycle surface on Church Road effectively stops on the bridge, I can tell you about that. 1, you're expected to go down Maze Lane. That's a cycle route. And 2, early Town Council turned down the offer of Section 106 money from a developer to continue the shared path going on to the 3 Tons roundabout. But that's history.
Carol?
I think David Mills was gesturing earlier.
No, I gestured earlier, but basically Keith just clarified it, because once you reach Church Road, you're no longer in Woodley, you're in Early Town Council. So we wouldn't be able to comment on that.
No.
It's true. Okay. Go on, Carol.
Thank you. I don't think these things should stop us commenting. This is why it's not joined up, because people compartmentalise, and there's nothing to stop us making a comment to our neighbouring authorities and saying, look, our people would like to get to, I don't know, Reading, would like to get to Asda, would like to go the other way. And because it's not joined up, we're not allowed to, it's not working. I don't quite understand the Maze Lane. I go down there a lot if I'm doing a round route, but I certainly wouldn't go down Maze Lane if I was trying to get to Reading, unless I've got on Maze Lane. But that's the issue. There's no signposting. It's not joined up. I cycled from Woodley, from Kingfisher Drive to 3 Mile Cross and back the other weekend. And once I got into Low Early, there were signs everywhere. It told me the mileage, it told me where to go. it took me across the M4. I was on main road at all. So I got over the M4 and then I was dumped, a bit like my sat nav does, and had to make my way back from there. But it's that joining up that's an issue, and that's what stops people using their bikes and walking to a certain extent.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think we're conflating two things here. Can I make a proposal to allow us to move forward? All the things that Carol's just been talking about are absolutely key things to talk about, but and to discuss and negotiate. But that should be part of the general remit of cycle improvements in Woodley, not with respect to the spending of the Section 106. I think the spending of the Section 106 is a different matter, and we don't know what we've got to spend. We don't know what's been done before. They're not mutually exclusive, but I'm just suggesting a way forward is that we develop Carol's views and others' views, which are consistent with Carol, on the cycle improvements that joined up in one part, and Linda goes off and asks from the Section 106 side, what's available, what is the sum, what's been spent, what's it been spent on, that list, the shopping list, how many of those have been done, all or none. So that would be my proposal.
Unreasonable.
Can I just say to Linda that I'll write those issues down that were on the Section 106 agreement that I've mentioned. I don't know if she got them down earlier, but
no, I was going to ask actually, could you send them to me, please? I didn't get. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So if we move on to item 13, which is Reading Borough Council Transport Strategy Consultation. So we need to look at that. We need to respond by, is it August? By the end of August. So we need to decide how we're going to deal with that. And this is a lot to do with cycling. So would I be right in saying that the Cycling Working Party will become involved? Carol?
I'm not sure, because I thought the Cycling Working Party was asked about the Section 106, but then it was a case of no, it's the committee's going to decide. So I'm not so sure who. I think it's a bigger thing. Talk about transport, not just cycling. But maybe reference to money to government, it would be worth waiting. What happens? I know the borough are talking about how they might spend any money that appears. And then maybe that could get tied in, and also having discussions with Reading Cycle Group. And, you know, we need to talk to our neighbours and to find out what's going on. It is a strategy that we need to look at and make some comments.
So do you think it's sensible to do some more background and defer this to the next meeting?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Linda?
Can I just say, I think it's because it does include a new cycling and walking infrastructure.
All right, Cat's joined the meeting.
Don't worry, Carol, my dog will chase him off.
I put her on the windowsill, she's all right.
I think that's one of the reasons why they've actually asked us about this, because of the contact that our Cycling Working Party has had with Woking Borough Council. And I think Rob Curtis has been in touch with Lucy Prismal, I think her name is, who sent us this. But I can, if you like, I can send you the email that was sent when they told us about this consultation.
Okay.
And I can send it to the, I mean, if the Cycling Working Party wants to have a look at it. I mean, it's not unusual for when a consultation comes in for a group of people to go away and look at it in detail and then report back to the committee.
Is this the example of the pornography that came onto Zoom?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
He
I
wanted
think
to have
someone
his
just
say.
said arseholes.
Right, okay, so we're going to suggest that the working party has a look at the proposals, does some more background, and then we'll defer any more
Well,
discussion then to the next
Is the
meeting.
working party happy to do that? I'm not sure that they've said they want to do it.
Well, they're the ones that have got to do it. It's not if they're happy.
I don't think that's the case, but let's have a look at it and go from there. I think we haven't had a working group meeting for a while, and that's basically because it's been so difficult to get some information. I've been emailing Rob Curtis and not got an answer. So is it okay, Philip, that it's left with you? I'll have a meeting with the working group.
I think so. I think so. And then we'll defer it. We'll see how we are the next month.
I'll defer it until the next meeting then.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, we've still got plenty of time. If the working party hasn't met by then, we could defer it until the following meeting as well. Okay.
Okay. Item 14 then is the stopping up of the highway at 14 South Lake Crescent.
I thought we dealt with that one.
Is that an issue for anybody? No.
We were asked our opinion on this previously, Carol. That's why you think. And this is just to say that the order has been made.
So we can just take that as read, can we? Okay. Item 15 is just to note a press release from Woking Borough Council on the Public Rights of Way Improvement Plan. And that's available as Appendix 15 for you for you all to review. Item 16 is the Arborfield and Darken Neighbourhood Plan. And Woking, just to say, Woking formally adopted the Arborfield and Darken Neighbourhood Plan on the 22nd of April, and a copy of the plan can be seen on the website details that hopefully you've got in front of you. Item 17, enforcement issues. There are a number of these. Should I go through them or do you want to take them as read yourselves?
Take them as read, I think.
Has anybody got any issues with any of them? Okay. So we move on to, is there any other business? Keith.
I just want to say a great congratulations, Philip, on a very, very good meeting. This could have ended up as being a nightmare. I think it's been really good. We've all been well disciplined. Well, I think I probably did the only joke with Carol Cat, but I want to congratulate you and Kevin setting this all up, and it's going to work.
Yeah, it's going to work.
Very good.
It'll work. Okay. The only problems I've had really is even in the practice is the shared screen bit, but I'm getting the hang of that. It's all very well pulling one up, but it's when you want to pull up consecutively, it becomes a bit of an issue. But we got over a lot of it by Linda and I put together all the documents on each application. So instead of having them as separate documents now, we've just got them as one document per application, so we can scroll through the whole lot as one file instead of a number of files, and that's helped very well. And I think Linda did a good job on that. Yes, Carol.
I think we should do that all the time. I've always felt this toing and froing on the screen has actually made our meetings much longer. It's quite difficult to go in and out. People are saying up a bit, down a bit, whatever. It is much easier to have it all on.
Carol, have you turned your sound down? I can't hear you.
Oh, I might have done because hang on. No, I haven't. No.
Oh, that's better. I can hear you a bit better now.
Sorry,
I think
It happens every time the cat shows us its arse.
Oh dear, he just
Love you,
wanted to
Martin.
join.
I think one of the things it will show by doing this type of video conferencing is that we're going to find better ways of doing things, which we can then just move into the way we normally do it anyway, to speed things
Well,
up.
hopefully we don't have to do it much longer.
Who knows?
But I think the combining all of the drawings into one file that we can just scroll down, I think is an improvement, and that we
Yes.
should do that
Yes,
when we
Okay.
go back to our normal meetings.
that didn't take you much longer than normal, did it, Linda?
No, the only thing is I have to do it fairly last minute because I have to check and make sure none of the drawings, or I have to put in amended drawings if anything's been
Yeah.
superseded. So I don't want to do it too early because then I'll have to do it again. But I mean, it didn't take me too long, so that's all
No,
right.
okay, all right. I mean, I've got facilities to do that as well if necessary, so I can help out if I have to, so it's not a problem. Okay, so shall we draw the meeting to a close? Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
To be continued next month, I guess. Thanks.